Hello and welcome back to LendAPI Academy. My name is Kay, and in this video we're going to be showcasing our autopay offer widget. Native to the LendAPI Product Studio, and allows the users to be able to showcase an autopay and non-autopay offer within their underwriting or loan origination flow. To get started, we simply have to navigate to our product of choice and navigate over to where we would like for our autopay offers to sit. So in this instance, we are going to be leveraging an offer to come in between our bank details page and our offers page. So we'll add in a autopay offer. And once you have this, you simply navigate over to our widgets section and drag in the autopay offer widget here to showcase to the user. Now we'll be able to save and navigate back to this when needed. The main caveat for us to run the autopay offer widget is to make sure that a rule gets triggered before the user navigates over to this page. So in the bank details page, we're actually going to have to set a rule here to run so that the user can see the autopay offer widget. So what we're going to do is we're going to navigate over to our Rule Studio, set in our autopay offer, and add in offer test description. And in here, we're going to create a rule to run an autopay offer. Of course, before we do that, we have to make sure that the proper outcomes are set. Autopay offer. We have everything set in place. And now let's navigate back to our Rule Studio. Our autopay offer, we are going to be leveraging our TransUnion credit score as we are pulling TransUnion inside of our Rules Studio in our Product Studio. And we're going to leverage that the TransUnion credit score is greater than or equal to 600 in order to run our autopay offer. Now I'm going to create a yes/no branch to set my trigger actions. And I'm going to set this as approved with our autopay offer in place. And then in the no section, I'm going to set our action to a decline and set this as a rejected action. Now let's test and make sure our rules are running correctly. Perfect. We can submit. And as always, when you submit a rule, make sure that you approve it. Either you as the admin or another admin inside of the LendAPI instance. Now that we've approved our latest rule, we can make sure it gets added back into our product. So here's our autopay offer, and here I'm actually going to be triggering the contract, the final offer contract, to be set as next page, and before then I will be triggering the decision tree. And instead, what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually be replacing my initial offer with my new autopay offer. So in here, I'm going to set this as autopay offer. I'm going to save. And then after this, I'm going to set my final offer. And of course, I always have to make sure my decision tree is in place. Now that we've set our decision tree and we've made sure our offer is in the right location with the right widget, we are going to now navigate over to our pricing engine to actually be able to appropriately map all of the autopay offers. Now, in order to leverage the LendAPI autopay offer, there's a couple of nuances that have to be in place. The first of which is to make sure that there are a few actions that are associated with this. For the autopay offer, there are 5 actions that are mandatory or out of the box for the user to actually be able to see their loan amount and their loan offer of choice. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure these actions are going to be payment type, interest rate, monthly payment frequency, and loan amount. If for any reason you do not need to leverage any or all of these instances, you simply have to take out the one that you are not interested in showing the user. So for example, in this one, I do not need to actually show the user the monthly payment amount as part of the widget. So I've left this column blank and I've left the rest of the columns to actually populate within the widget. Once you have all of these 5 columns set exactly, now is the time to actually map these columns. So for this particular widget, I am setting the condition to look at the credit score, the state, and then the loan amount. We do want a minimum loan amount of $500 for our buy now, pay later product. So once I have all my conditions set in place inside of my pricing engine, I can actually start to navigate through. So let's map our conditions first. I'm going to map the Vantage score to credit score, which is what we're going to be pulling from our TransUnion, and mapping it to the right place. Now I'm going to be mapping our state to our user input state field. And then, of course, our final condition, which is loan amount, we're going to be mapping to loan amount. Of course, before I do, I just have to make sure that the loan amount that I'm mapping to has the right variable type. So real quickly, let's navigate back to our details and make sure that this is in fact a loan amount. Perfect. So this is the variable that we're mapping to for the user to input. Navigating back, now we're doing our output mapping. Set your output mapping. The first thing you need to do is make sure you add the right system output variables. They're very specific system output variable names that we have to leverage for our autopay widget. And here is how one would do so. So the first system output variable we want to leverage is payment type, and the variable name and the variable code have to be autopay in order for the widget to function properly. And this will be a string. The second system output variable is going to be your interest rate. But interest rate, luckily, is already set inside of our system output variable. The third of which is going to be term frequency, which is also set already in our system output variable. And then the last variable type is, last system output variable we're going to be setting is going to be loan underscore term, which is also already set in place. So now that we have everything, let's go back to our pricing engine and make sure everything is mapped correctly. Here, we'll make sure the first mapping goes to autopay. Payment type. Then we will map interest rate as a second. And then, of course, loan term. Oh, I'm sorry, payment frequency. Sorry, term frequency will be the third column. And then if you want to do another loan amount, simply map this field to the variable loan underscore amount and make sure that it does not repeat with what you have here in the input column. I think for now, we should be good to test our autopay offer widget, and let's make sure our triggers are set correctly. The trigger we are going to be leveraging is, of course, our autopay offer. And then the product we're going to be choosing is buy now, pay later. All right, and I think we have everything. Please come back next time as we test our autopay offer widget and showcase how to use this widget in different ways. And as always, thank you. Please subscribe and follow us for more content.